봐. 공짜로 집안의 소독도 하고 곱등도 없애고.
2019's Palme d'Or winner Parasite, directed by the critically acclaimed South Korean director Bong Joon-ho, remarkably bears many similarities with the 2018 Palme d'Or winner Shoplifters, a Japanese film directed by Hirokazu Koreeda.
もう少しさ、カレーの匂いのするもん拾ってきなよ。
父ちゃん、鼻よくねえからな。ね。
While these films have their similarities and differences in regards to their portrayal of the respective societies and cultures, they do share a very similar narrative structure and cinematic style. Parasite follows the invasion of the destitute Kim family into the life and home of the contrastingly affluent Park family. Through wicked deception and a strangely uncontested chain of suggestions, the Kims first replace the Parks' daughter's college entrance exam tutor, then their son's art tutor, their personal driver, and then finally their live-in maid, all in the name of getting rich. Shoplifters follows a group of otherwise unrelated people, ranging from children to the elderly, who have come together into an almost genuine family. Living off of low-impact crimes like prostitution and, as the title might suggest, shoplifting, the film captures the struggle of the poor to survive in a capitalistic society. Set respectively in South Korea and Japan, both Parasite and Shoplifters follow a severely lower-class family who resort to illegal means to survive in the near-subhuman environment that they find themselves in. This is where we see one of the largest differences between the two films. The family in Shoplifters, of course, shoplifts food and supplies, which they consider to be a somewhat victimless crime. On the other hand, the family in Parasite lies, cheats, and steals from a wealthy family in order to get employed by them and in turn benefit from their wealth, a highly malicious crime with an obvious victim. However, in both films, regardless of their initial intentions, their crimes develop to the point of going too far as a result of their greed. In Shoplifters, the family steals a purse from a locked car, breaking their original, already questionable morals. The same holds true in Parasite. Their crazy scheme gets too far out of hand, and for the sake of spoilers, I'll just leave it at that. Perhaps one of the more positive aspects of these films is that there's a large focus on the importance of family, with these films both coming from East Asian countries where family is traditionally valued as a sort of sacred bond at a much greater degree than in the West. This is especially true in the past, whereas today, much like in America, wealth and personal gain may have become more important. Regardless, both families in Parasite and Shoplifters do retain this traditional outlook and place their loyalty to their family above everything else, even, as in the case of the latter, if it means having to let them go. We can see this familial closeness not only in the narrative, but similarly in the cinematic style that Bong Joon-ho and Hirokazu Koreeda employ. As these families are incredibly impoverished, their houses are little more than a cramped room, certainly unfit to house a small, let alone large, family. However, where these so-called houses are, is another point of contrast between the two films. Parasite's home is centered in a semi-basement in a lower-class part of the city, making a statement on the economic inequality that the family faces. They are essentially a sore spot within a sore spot, the worst off of everyone, at an incomparable level compared to the family that they decide to dupe. In a seemingly completely opposite representation, the family and Shoplifters live in an area where there is almost nobody else to be seen, making it seem like they simply do not exist. It still makes the same statement as Parasite. Their social status is so insignificant that it would be a blemish on society, so they are simply invisible. What these settings do, though, is they draw them closer together and highlight their intimacy with one another. These directors both heavily employ the use of close-up shots of pairs or more, again, emphasizing the close relationship between those who have little else but each other. This is maintained even more so when they are outside of their homes. In an environment where they perhaps do not belong, the frame often keeps them bound together. They are not only physically and socially connected to one another, but also metaphorically through the direction of the cinematography. Of course, the cinematography also builds the other side of the world of the wealthy. This isn't only limited to actual showcases of wealth like the mansion in Parasite. Rather, in both films, there's an emphasis on the openness of the world, a direct contrast to the claustrophobia of the lower class homes. In wide-angle shots of open space, Bong Joon-ho and Hirokazu Koreeda display the possibilities that the world can offer, especially to these families that are willing to forego their sense of morality. They essentially make the visual claim that the world is nothing but their oyster, holding a pearl of opportunities that can easily be taken. As you can see, there's a wide range of similarities. Considering the content of the films and what has already been discussed, there are probably two expected outcomes one might obviously expect. Either their plan will work or their plan will fail. Regardless of what happens, what really matters in these films is the outcome of the family, which is where another difference lies. Although Shoplifters ends with introspection and guilt for the crimes they've committed, in turn leading to a feeling of despair and loneliness for the family, it is interesting to note that Parasite has a complete opposite result. It concludes with complete shamelessness and lack of apology, but also a feeling of hope. The same hope that they started with, hope that they won't be poor, and hope that they'll be together as a family.